and my brain.
Enough computing power and data, you can hack my body and my brain and my life, and you can understand me better than I understand myself. You can know my personality type, my political views, my sexual preferences, my mental weaknesses, my deepest fears and hopes. You know more about me than I know about myself. And you can do that not just to me, but to everyone. A system that understands us better than we understand ourselves can predict our feelings and decisions, can manipulate our feelings and decisions, and can ultimately make decisions for us.
Others remove your smile, throw them the can, and the world is turning gray with a middleman. Should I really be surprised just how far we've fallen? A dream we never wanted, come from the sound of destruction.
Police, hiding, endless, riots, kill them, babies, save them, pride, stronger, legs, bigger, feds, blast up, bitch, calls, mom says.
Let's get used to this, we can't care about it all. Notice when the sky falls to the ground. Let's get this over with, no houses and so many. Mental woman, what's wrong? Can't you get along? Then the rapist in jail swears that he is one. Not really a problem until it shows on your doorstep. Now open up, let's get used to this. We can't care about it all. Notice when the sky falls to the ground. Let's get this over with. No houses and so many. The color is from to tell Simon. What can't you with us to the public? What can't you it is to notice? If it's over with, you can feel bad about it later. Just get over it.
Take a generation of children and wrap them in cotton wool. Organize play dates so they're never out of mommy's eyesight. Don't let them walk to school. Don't even let them walk to the school bus stop. Take away phonics and give them Common Core. Then shut down the entire world and lock them up at home. Then 4 years later, ask yourself, why are Millennials and Gen Z the least conscientious, most self-centered, arrogant crop of young people the world has ever known, and what does that mean for our future? Well, we've been talking about this on Disaffected for years, and now a bombshell survey in the Financial Times confirms it. The young cohort is the seed of social breakdown just around the bend. All that and much more tonight on Disaffected. I've said before in the show many times that Disaffected is a documentary chronicle of the downfall of society. Along with you, we are spectators with front row stadium seats to the collapse of conscientiousness. Generation Z and the Millennials are next in line to pilot this planet through the endless dark vacuum of space and time. Does that worry you? Stay connected, stay tuned for the next part of tonight's show, because we're going to take a close look at a new article in the Financial Times that looks at longitudinal personality characteristic surveys and what that means for the current crop of young people. I hope you enjoy Cold Chills. Welcome to Disaffected, the show where we talk about people, policy, politics, culture, and relationships through a psychological lens. It's August 24th, and I'm Joshua Slocum. I'm also 51 years old, which is strange because I swear that I was telling you just last week that my name was Sally O'Malley, that I was 50 years old, and that I liked to stretch and kick. But it was apparently a whole year ago, and I actually don't like stretching and kicking. So instead of that, let's talk about female narcissism. Again? But you talk about it so much, Josh. How about some new information? Well, there is no new information and no new trend that's not about female narcissism. For years now on this show, I have said that woke is not dead, even though we're making progress in the right direction. It's not gone just because Donald Trump was elected to the presidency in November of 2024, and that it's going to take years and probably generations to root out woke. Woke is just an outgrowth of feminism. Feminism is an outgrowth of Marxism and communism, and all of them, are all reducible to one thing: narcissism. Woke is going to take years to undo, and we are only 9 months into a historic Republican presidency. You cannot take your foot off the accelerator. Not only is there just as much bad, criminal, abusive, and exploitative female behavior happening today as there was a year ago, in many ways it's worse and there's more. It's easy to see why. Trump and the Republican Party are masculinity. The left and Democrats are femininity. Supply your own not-alls, do not. Femininity has ruled in this country as the mainstream. Both sides do it. It's the cultural stance of mainstream society, not just the left, also the conservatives and Republicans. The Republican Party is full of self-gelding and self-cuckolding men, which is why we're at this pretty pass. They'd keep us there too by putting the brakes on extreme talk. But Trump's brash, balls to the wall, egotistical approach is not going to let that happen. Thank God for Donald J. Trump's personal brand of narcissism, because it is precisely what we need. Culture has started to say no to women and shut up to women when they act like children. It has begun to do this. And naturally, they're enraged. Children are narcissists. That's a part of natural development. Children are, in fact, narcissistic, unregulated narcissists. They scream when they're told no. They say that they're above the rules. They say it's not fair. They say it's abuse when you tell them no and don't let them have another cookie. Sounds like women today, doesn't it? Yes, it does. Because the average modern female mind is a narcissistic child's mind. Women are 58% of matriculated college students. They are 77% of elementary school teachers, and more than 80% of working therapists. No, these women are not there in these numbers because they got there on merit. It is not true that fully 50% of the female sex is just as capable in every single way of working in heretofore male-dominated business spheres and professions. That is not true. It's just that we say it's true. And we made it illegal to not allow women to be 50%. Now we've made it socially, and in many cases legally, illegal to not allow them to take over and be a supermajority. The vast majority of these women are unqualified for their academic and professional pursuits. Go ahead and hate me and call me a misogynist. I give zero fucks about that. And that is why we see so many public examples of brazen tantrum throwing, social and personal abuse of children and men, and now outright physical assault from women to a degree that I've never seen before. Only a skewed social system that has been letting women get away with bloody murder would give us a society in which so many women feel safe and comfortable saying in public what they say about men and doing what they do right out in public, on camera, consciously. Let's start going through some of these. What you're going to see in the upcoming video is Rhode Island Assistant Attorney General Devon Flanagan. Yes, you must pronounce her name that way. Devon. Devin Flanagan is now on unpaid leave pending an investigation. You won't forget who she is because in this upcoming video, she tells you repeatedly, this is a cop cam body video. The woman is apparently drunk. The bar asked her to leave and she wouldn't do it. So the cops showed up to make her leave. Let's watch clip 1.
That you turn it off. If a citizen requests it to turn it off.
So they want you guys to leave?
Yes, we're gonna leave.
Let's just leave. Let's just make it easy,
We're gonna
okay?
leave. We're gonna make it easy. That's not.
I am. Okay. I'm her
That's not the point. Can you look at me?
Yeah, we'll talk over here, okay?
Your protocol is.
Can we all talk? Can we all talk?
Talk over here. They want you to leave.
Your protocol is.
Can we talk?
Who's she to you?
What's that?
No, nothing wrong.
That's just the beginning. You've got some tells already, okay? Miss Devin Flanagan is wearing, look at what she's wearing. Pink, what is that, a jumper? With white light. She looks like a 15-year-old schoolgirl. This is a woman in her 40s. So we've already got, she's already starting with pecking beacons. I don't know if you caught that. There's going to be more pecking beacons. And then her female side chick, bring it, oh, no, oh, oh. They're going to cycle through FX, just like last week we saw with George when we looked at that cop cam video. Let's roll clip number 2 from this incident.
You guys just want to know? Do you want them trespassed?
Anything we can do.
Yeah.
Trespass, yeah. I just need
Trespass, get them out.
Yeah, please. It's the only way we're going to
No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
Do you want to chat?
I know that your protocol
Beacons.
is.
So you're trespassed, so we got to leave now. Unless you want to be in
We're
there.
not trespassing. You haven't notified us that we're trespassing.
What
Number one.
did
Number
I just say to
two.
you? You're trespassed. Let's go.
Number one.
I don't
Number
want to
two.
arrest you guys.
You're not going to arrest us. Number two
So let's
is
leave.
that
We got to go. We got to go.
protocol
Let's go.
is.
Let's
No,
go.
we calm down for 1 second. Is if we
Yeah.
ask you to
I
turn
don't
the
want-
body
I don't
cam
wanna
off.
deal with this. Let's
Okay.
go.
No, I understand you don't want to deal with it, but the
let's go.
protocol is, and your protocol is if I ask you to turn off the body cam, you have to turn it off, and that's your protocol.
She's a lawyer, so she knows.
Well,
Gackle, gackle. She's a fucking lawyer, so she knows. Gackle. That's what I've started to. I'm gonna give you a new concept for a kind of person. I call her the gackler. G-A-C-K. Gackle. Gackle, 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 gackle. Lala LMAO. She's a fucking lawyer. She knows. Gackle, gackle, gackle. They're gacklers. So what did you hear in this one? The denial. We're not trespassing. The cop walked up to the concierge in front of the bar and said, do you want us to trespass her? Meaning, do you want us to charge her with trespassing and take her off site? Yes. He says, do anything, just get him out of here. So he says, you're trespassing. We're not trespassing. We're not trespassing. It's like, well, no, I'm not under arrest. No, you're not arresting me, gackle. So we've got Devin Flanagan saying, here's a quote. Number 2, you're not going to arrest us. And the protocol is you have to turn, if I ask you to turn the body cam off, you have to turn it off. That's what the protocol is. No, Devin, it's not what the protocol is. Please don't put your hands on us. I don't know if you caught that at the end. Let's roll into number 3.
There are two full-grown women and mothers of children. All right.
We just talked about it. We just talked about it. I'm an AG. I'm an AG.
What's
wrong with you?
What
What's
are
wrong
you
with you?
probable cause to detain me for?
you're being detained because you're not leaving.
Because I'm what? You have
Can you relax? Sir.
Did you hear the cop? Can you relax?
You're not leaving.
I'm an AG.
Let's go.
There's her cuckolded husband. There he is. Did you see him at the end? She's not doing anything. Can we just not? I'm an AG. I'm an AG. She's saying, I'm an attorney general. I'm an attorney general. Do you know who I am? I'm an AG. She's not an AG. She's an assistant attorney general in Rhode Island, a postage stamp sized state. So they put her in the cop door. They put her in the cop car and slammed the door on her mid-scream. It was glorious. I didn't notice whether we caught that in this clip, but she's like, la, 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 la. The guy bodily pushed her into the back and cut her off, slammed the door right in her face while she was bitching. It is chef's kiss. And now, let's go over to her side chick, her screaming friend. Check this bitch out.
We will get the license.
Hands off
Okay,
me!
we will get the license.
Fucking hands off me.
No. Get the license.
Get out of here. Get back. Get back right now. Get back.
Detained.
No.
Get back.
No. Yeah.
Get cops. Yep.
I'm right here. It's okay.
All right, just go from the car.
Here. No.
Look at her.
I'm right here.
I'm right here.
No. Stop touching me.
All right.
Babe, I'm right here.
No, babe, please, I'm scared.
I'm right here.
I'm scared, please.
No, I'm not gonna find hands like that.
I'm right here.
No.
Okay.
No, please don't do this to my friend.
I'm right here.
No,
Right
no,
here.
no, babe.
No.
I'm right here.
Dave.
I'm right here.
No.
Dave.
Relax.
No,
Relax.
So just like last week, when George and I were discussing how they very rapidly cycle through affects and approaches in a psychopathic manner, they go from angry and belligerent to pretending to be scared, to pretending to be sad, to pretending to be compliant. They just go ramp, see which one works. So we got, no, stop touching me. No. God, I love this. Oh, God, I love seeing these women manhandled. Yes, I would like to see them smacked. I would. Absolutely. No, I'm scared. Then she goes for her husband, Dave. And he's like, I'm right here, babe. I'm right here. Fucking pathetic. This incident and these two women, this is not because they were drunk. Stop that right now. If you're going to go there, stop it. For your own good. No, it's not because they're drunk. You've been drunk, and you didn't act this way. So it's not because they're drunk. These women are not simply drunk. They have cluster B personality disorders. Yeah. This is normal and mainstream now. These women get hired. They rise to the top of the chain. She is, in fact, an assistant attorney general. Do you really think there have been no indications of her behavior with her colleagues at any point in her career up until now? That this is completely out of the blue and there were no red flags and no tells? Really? These women have gotten away with this behavior in every other prior circumstance in their lives when they've pulled this behavior. This is very likely the first time in their entire lives that they have been told to shut up and obey by a man in authority. Very first time. Do you think their fathers ever corrected them? Do you think their husbands would ever tell them to cut the crap? No. You saw Dave, didn't you? Relax. You see how these officers are roughly handling them, too? That's good. That is a good and positive thing. They're not hurting them. They're not beating women up. These are not men who are hurting women. They are controlling them bodily. They are pinching their arms back to make them stop wriggling out of handcuffs, and they are bodily shoving them when they refuse to comply and step into the car. This is good. More of this. Well, up next, we've got some random TikTok broad encouraging you to murder conservatives with guns.
Okay, guys, so I would like to start a new movement called MAGA, because people like that respond to fear and terror and aggression, not logic and empathy and, I don't know, intelligence. It doesn't work for them. So fear works. So if we all get our guns and use our Second Amendment right and our common sense, at this point this administration is begging us to rise up and revolt. And you see somebody with a MAGA hat, pew pew. That's what we do. That's the way. It's the only way. Put put them back in their basements, make them scared again to be racist, homophobic, and terrible, just awful fucking pieces of shit. Because I would way rather live next to immigrants than MAGA people. MAGA people deserve to be terrified and scared to walk in the streets because they should know that real Americans are going to kill them.
Do you recognize female psychopathy when you see it? I really want you to ask yourself that question right now. Do you recognize that that's female psychopathy? If you don't, you need to watch this show more. That's not cute. It's not a joke. That is female psychopathy. When you see MAGA, pew pew, pew pew, titfully pew pew. That's a female psychopath. This kind of woman, if she doesn't do it herself, she'll find a stupid, personality disordered man who's thinking with his dick because he's looking at her tits, because that is, in fact, why she framed the shot the way she did, to present herself titfully. She'll find some stupid man with a hard dick to kill someone for her. That's why it's called true crime. That's not fiction. That's what they do. Here's another example of female sociopathy and female behavior from middle-class women, normal middle-class women, that we never saw from this set before the past 10 years. This random woman in this upcoming video believes that the man that she's screaming at on the street is an immigration and customs enforcement officer. He's not, but she believes that he is. But since she believes that, that means that she can hit him, she can touch him, she can grab at him, and she can swack him with a cane. Listen, in the beginning of this video, listen, her child, I think it's a boy, her child is standing there pleading with her to stop. He's saying, Mom, Mom.
Ice garbage? Mom, let's go. Mom, who are you? What's your name? Are you ice? Oh, you don't want me to take a picture of your face? Is that because you're ice? What are you doing? Who are you? Who are you? What is this? What is all this? What is this? Huh? What is this? Is this ice? Are you an ice piece of shit? Is that what you are? Are you some ice piece of shit? Is that what you are? Because you won't say your name? Is that what you are? You some ice piece of shit? Are you some ice garbage person? Is that what you are? You must be, or you would have said. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Are you some ice piece of shit? You some ice piece of shit? Huh? Some ice piece of shit? Is that what you are? Is that what you are? Is that what you are? Some ice piece of shit? Fucking ice garbage? Are you ice garbage? Is that what you are? Ice garbage? Is that what you are?
Can you hear the pipe organ playing a plagial cadence? Amen. All right, we've got more. Therapist and several-time guest of Disaffected. Licensed clinical social worker, and she doesn't want to be called that anymore. Sorry, Pamela Garfield Yeager, love you. She reports from a therapists conference that she just attended. She tweets this. I recently attended a 3-credit professional training called The Impact of Donald Trump on America, a Cultic Studies Perspective. This instructed therapists to hate their Trump-supporting patients. The course was held online on August 7th, 2025. I was, quote, taught that if you voted for Trump, you are part of a, quote, cult on a national scale that, quote, presents an image of bringing the country back to a white majority and white power, end quote. Pamela, thank you very much also for sharing some of that video with us. What you're going to see, the woman on the left is named, this is my best attempt, Dr. Yanya Laich. I don't know who Miss Piggy on the right is.
Talk about it here in the light of what's happening now with Trump and his followers. The transcendent belief system. You said the belief system that offers you the answer to everything, the past, the present, the future. You have to change. You are not okay as you are. the end justifies the means belief system. So anything, you want to comment that you're seeing with Trump and that belief system?
Well, I think what we're seeing is, I think the belief system ruling our country today, in my opinion, is grounded in racism and presents an image of bringing the country back to a white majority and white power. And I think that's what most people bought into. I think other people kind of went along, perhaps because maybe their pastor became one of the ones who huddled around him and praised him and, whatever. And so when you have a thing like we have, in my opinion, this cult on a national scale, you are going to have people with varying degrees of belief and acceptance, right? And so I think with a good chunk of the people, they see him as someone who promised them that he would, quote, make America great again. And for them, that meant getting rid of the black and brown people. So, and I was saying this recently, I went to Belgium and people were asking me, how the hell did this happen in America? I think this country was founded on racism, has been built on racism, and nothing's ever really been done to sort of wipe that out of people's psyches, or lots of people. And so I think for the majority of the MAGA crowd, they don't care what the price of eggs is. All they care about is that he is getting rid of the black and brown people in our country. And that's a sad thing to say, but that's how I see it. And so that's his promise of salvation, right? And the belief system that this can only happen by the kind of brutality and horror that we see, at least this year, and the speed with which all this has happened, and the cruelty.
So questions coming through.
Okay. Let's take this one seriously instead of just mocking it. You heard her. That is what she thinks of the American people. That is what she thinks of her countrymen. She literally believes that more than half the country doesn't care about the price of eggs. They don't care about unaffordable mortgage interest rates. They don't care about skyrocketing gasoline prices. They don't care about getting jobs. They don't care about their children and their women being safe in the neighborhood and downtown. They don't actually care about any of the things they say they care about. She believes that what you care about, because she's talking about you, she believes that what you care about is getting rid of the black and brown people. This is a professional. This is a woman who gave a seminar for licensed professionals, for which these professionals were awarded state licensure continuing education credits. That is the therapy industry. That is why people like Pamela Garfield Yeager are, as she said on the show, ashamed to be called social workers and therapists now. It's not their fault. Thank God for good people like Pam. Do not let these people anywhere near your family. Do not ever let your child talk to one of these women ever. And the male version, none of that either. They are dangerous. They are dangerous. They are as dangerous as any drug dealer. They're fucking insane. I hope in 4 or 5 years' time, if I'm still lucky enough to be talking to you this way, that we're going to see a lot of them rooted out. But until now, all you can do is just keep your family away from them. So let's round this segment out with a classic. You have heard the joke. You've seen the joke and the meme on social media. I'll use the suicide example. Headline, male suicide happens at a rate 4 times that of women most affected. Right? You've seen a version of that joke. Well, the United Nations Women's Corps actually did the joke for real. Take a look at their Twitter. This is UN Women Australia chapter. Of all journalists killed in 2021, 11% were women. In 2020, this was 6%. On the International Day to End Impunity for Crimes Against Journalists, let us say out loud, all caps, boldface font, stop targeting women journalists. And they follow it up with a graphic. Stop targeting women journalists. Noah, you're not killing me. Target men journalists instead. Fuck you, you crazy twats. All right, coming up after the break, this week I got my first piece published in the Federalist, and it's on a topic near to my heart and near and dear to yours, disaffectants, the personality problems of millennials and Generation Z. For years, I've been saying that there is a cliff drop between my generation, Generation X, and the millennials and Gen Z that came after us. I've described how it's unlike other generational transitions. It wasn't gradual. It is actually a hard wall that cuts these people off from the history and culture of everyone who came before them, even who overlaps by just a few years. It's very noticeable. Well, we've got actual data now for those of you who've been sitting around going, source. This is data collected from longitudinal, meaning studied over time consistently. Longitudinal studies on personality traits, and it shows that cliff drop. So during the break, get a notepad or a box of tissues and don't move. We will be back in a few minutes to talk numbers showing the prevalence of cluster B traits in the young. But before we go out for that, we're going to say thank you to some of the people who make it possible for you and I to have our little Sunday night chats. BiltongUSA.com, our sponsor. Biltong is delicious, thinly sliced, spice and vinegar cured meat in the South African style. BiltongUSA.com is run by the Van Vuren family. They are from South Africa originally, and they're in Texas. And right now is a really great time to acquaint yourself with their product because they're breaking ground on a new facility and they're pouring concrete, and I'm watching the updates that come over my picture feed. So good luck to Anton and Nicole. Visit BiltongUSA.com and don't forget to use promo code JOSH to get 10% off your order.
No! Steve, no! No!
Put her in.
No!
Get back, bro.
Hey there, do you like this show? If you do, would you help us make it? It does cost time and money to do, and you are 95% of our sponsorship, individual viewers. We rely on you, and I sound like public broadcasting as I'm trying so hard not to do that. We really would love to have your support. We don't ask very much. You can join us two ways. Go to disaffectedpod.substack.com or go to subscribestar.com/disaffected and sign up to become a monthly supporter. The plans start at a very reasonable $5 and $7. If you don't want to have another subscription, I understand that. We've got a one-off option for you. Click on over to our website, disaffected.com, and hit the link that says support us. Thank you. So, with the publication of my first piece in the Federalist, my transformation into the gay Archie Bunker / gay very budget Rush Limbaugh is complete. And this is my final form. A new analysis of personality surveys is putting the weight of data behind things that all of us have noticed for ourselves. The alleged pandemic broke the minds and character of millions of people. Author John Byrne Murdoch in the Financial Times analyzed data from a set of longitudinal surveys of personality characteristics and found and unprecedented, and I'm not just saying that to say the word unprecedented, meaning we have never seen this before in history, literally, an unprecedented decline in positive pro-social traits such as extroversion and conscientiousness, along with a huge spike in neurotic thoughts and behavior and a huge drop in conscientiousness. These changes are quite obviously tied to the cultural, social, and governmental upheaval wrought by the hysterical response to the alleged COVID-19 pandemic. So the Financial Times analyzed the data from a years-long set of surveys measuring the personality characteristics of respondents using what is called the 5-factor model. This is a standard model in psychology that has to do with personality. Personality is measured, they measure 5 traits. You can remember these with the acronym OCEAN. And I got that from Dr. Todd Grande. It's not from me. And if you're not watching him, he's a great one on YouTube. OCEAN: openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. 5 factors. Well, the findings are grim. Author Byrne Murdoch noticed that conscientiousness, which is just doing your duty and following through on promises, that was starting to decline noticeably in 2021 and in 2022. In addition, traits like neuroticism, and that's negative feelings like rage, despair, depression, rumination, anxiety, sadness, neuroticism started to increase while agreeableness was trending downward. So that was 21 and 22. Now let's take a look at 2 years later, the data set from 2024. It's even worse. While the survey showed that both older and younger people shed some pro-social traits and adopted some additional antisocial traits, it is nowhere near parity, not even close. It is young people who stand out in the charts like a sore thumb. And by young people, I mean both millennials and Gen Z. Yes, I'm afraid I mean both of those. They're looking at age sets. Well, I'll show it to you when we get to the graphic. This is no surprise to anyone my age or older, Gen X or older. We've all noticed the lazy, hostile, insouciant, who even cares attitude of young people. They may be adults chronologically, legally in body, but they have the minds of children. So Substack writer Aaron Wren did a great article on this. He dug into the Financial Times data to illuminate the problem. So take a look at one of the charts that Mr. Wren excerpted. What you see here is, the title is Young Adults' Personalities Are Changing with Conscientiousness in Free Fall. So the data measures personality changes among different age groups, and it shows a huge drop in the trait of conscientiousness in people ages 16 to 39. Those between the ages of 40 and 59 also lost a lot of their sense of duty, so that's my generation, but not nearly as sharply. And unsurprisingly, sorry for those of you who want to scream, boomer, boomer, respondents aged 60 and older stayed constant on everything but extroversion. Look at the chart. Then notice the increase in neuroticism. Look at the second one in, going from left to right. We've got conscientiousness, neuroticism, agreeableness, and extroversion. Look at the red line in number 2, neuroticism. That's the age 16 to 39 category. Look how sharply it goes up. It goes from 60 to 70 on the scale that they're using. Look at agreeableness next to it. The boomers, they're pretty much flatlined. They've stayed about where they are, right in the middle. My generation X, we dipped down and lost about 5 points. Take a look at Gen Z and millennials. Right? Again, this comports with observable reality. While older people whistle past the graveyard with sayings like, oh, that's just kids, and they'll snap out of it when they get into the real world, they're not just kids. 39-year-olds are not just kids. 20-year-olds are not just kids. And they haven't snapped out of it, have they? The rate of neuroticism in this cohort, which was already highly elevated at baseline compared to older people, still jumped markedly from the period between 2014 and 2024. At the same time, the young cohort score on agreeableness has plunged. And this is not just looking at cherry-picked social media meltdowns, as people often accuse shows like this one of just cherry-picking the most extreme things. As if the buffet, the ever-increasing buffet of the stuff available, doesn't indicate anything about prevalence in society. It does. You know, these things aren't happening on Facebook or on Twitter. They're happening in real life, and you're hearing about them on Facebook and Twitter. Not fake, not digital, not virtual. Real, really happening in the world. This video, do we have it here? Or I'm getting a little mixed up. Do we have this video? I think we're going to show it to you later. No, actually, I showed it to you last week. That woman I showed you last week who was screaming at a guy because he bought his dogs instead of adopting them, that screaming banshee at Mount Tabor Dog Park, that would have been unthinkable in the normal world 10 to 20 years ago. It would never have occurred to you that you would see something like that in the wild, so to speak. But it's happening a lot. These meltdowns are real. And, you know, I said at the beginning of this segment, as I often have said, the alleged pandemic. And the fact that, because I wrote a version of this for the Federalist, and what I said about that was the fact that an author has to justify putting the word pandemic within quotation marks, that itself is another data point. Nearly everyone, including the rational, the skeptical, the conservatives, and the libertarians, they all glibly and easily refer to the respiratory illness of 2020 and 2021 with a word that prior to today was only ever used for deadly and dire plagues. They use the word pandemic as if it were just obviously true. Pandemic, prior to 2020, has always only referred to actual plagues. I don't care about what they do in disease journal medicine. We're not talking about that. We're talking about normal people speech. Pandemic referred to things like the Black Death, bubonic plague in Europe, that, depending on which source you trust, wiped out between a third to a half to maybe even 2/3 of Europe's population. That was a pandemic. That never happened before 2020. Calling things like this a pandemic, calling a bad flu year a pandemic. There was no uber deadly virus, unlike anything seen since the 14th century, that ravaged the land and killed an unprecedented number of people. That didn't happen. Didn't happen in 2020 or any year after that. It wasn't true then. It's not true now today. What happened medically was something like a bad flu year, with the elderly and the sick, as always, being hurt the most. What happened socially and politically was a crisis that pushed America and the First World West into blatant totalitarianism. While our cousins in the UK and Europe are pretty tame and they're accustomed to being controlled and nannied by their governments, Americans faced for the first time the abrogation of their constitutional rights to free speech and bodily autonomy in a way that we have never seen in this country in living memory. State governors issued blatantly illegal stay indoors orders. As an example, here in Vermont, my state, Republican Governor Phil Scott signed an executive order barring state residents from walking out of doors with any other human who was not part of his household. Republican. We all know what the military and President Joe Biden did, not to mention countless corporate employers who all strong-armed millions of service members and millions of corporate employees into taking an unsafe, unproven injection, falsely labeled a vaccine. This is not all inside your head. It's all inside their heads. Look around you right now. Look around you, especially if you live in a blue area, a left-leaning area. You see zombified people who've lost the ability to engage in small talk. They've lost the ability to obey traffic rules like stopping for red lights. And they erupt in histrionic tantrums at the slightest disagreement, and they do it in public. In blue areas of New England, like where I live, grocery stores, gas stations, and restaurants are still operating with half or fewer the number of staff they had in the before times. People, especially young people, seem to have simply decided that it's not safe or desirable to work, so they're not going to. Apparently, that's just what we do now. What staff you can find in a Walmart or a home improvement store are likely to just glare at you in a surly manner when you ask them where to find something. This is what we call customer service in 2025. Hi, where can I find faucet riggings? If we had any, it would be like over there. Or you'll just get... The neurotic and self-centered, emotionally unstable behaviors that we see all around us look, of course, like what we find in cluster B personality disorders. These are deeply ingrained, largely immovable character traits of narcissism, emotional derangement, and they are destructive to the person who has these traits, and they are horrendously destructive and painful to everyone around him. And as a former leftist raised in a home headed by a mother with multiple cluster B personality disorders, I remain alarmed at the rising social acceptance of behavior that is as abusive as it is disconnected from reality. Looking out at the American populace, I see the destructive wreckage of my childhood becoming completely normalized, even validated and praised as authentic and living your best life. None of this is normal. And if we allow it to become normal, we are digging our own graves and pulling the dirt in on top of ourselves. After this last break, we're going to look at what middle-aged liberal women have done to the restaurant chain Cracker Barrel. Come back.
You're not being arrested. Let's go.
I'm not being arrested. You're putting me in cuffs. I'm not being arrested.
Nobody wants to on you?
No. I'm saying
Her bag? You want to get a bag?
Do you have someone or maybe some ones in your life who are making you ask yourself if you're crazy? Are you having trouble getting along with your boss, your colleagues, your wife, your husband? Are your children cutting you out and going no contact with you for reasons that you can't understand? I talk a lot on this show about going no contact with your abusive parents, which is something that I do endorse for people. I think if people treat you abusively, you should put them out of their lives. But I've been talking to some clients lately, more and more of them, who aren't apparently abusive people, but who are being shunned by their adult children, both their male and female adult children. And what age cohort are their children in? Millennials and Gen Z. It's not pretty out there. I hope this isn't the case for you, but if it is, you can contact me and we can spend an hour to talk about it. Visit joshuaslocum.net. I offer 1 hour private, confidential coaching and consulting by video call or telephone call. And if there's something that I can help you with, or if you just need, forgive the phrase, a safe person who's not going to freak out on you to tell it to, I hope you'll book time with me. joshuaslocum.net. And if you're a supporting, subscribing member of Disaffected, you get a nice discount too. Are you following us on X, known to normal people as Twitter? If not, why not? You're missing the good stuff. That's where our clips go out first. We stream live on X every Sunday night, and we'd love to see you there and jump in the chat. Our handle is @DisaffectedPod. @DisaffectedPod. Sign up now. Oh, we're still rolling. And we're not going to cut this either. Let's talk about brutalism again. It's not just architecture, it's a lifestyle. You can see it happening. You can see the mindset of brutalism because it is a mindset. It's not just an architectural style. It's a psychology. And you can see it happening with what modern people have taken to calling brands, but what normal people used to call restaurants and companies just a couple years ago. University campuses are infested with these brutalist Tetris in real life ticky-tacky boxes that spread like kudzu during the 60s and 70s in that building craze. Most of you have been to a motor vehicle office or a tax assessor's office in your city that looks like a commissar's preferred budget motel. That's brutalism. But have you noticed the brutalist creep in retail and in interior home design? It's hard to miss it. For at least the past 10 years, companies have been pouring lye over their brand images, burning off every bit of softness, whimsy, or unique characteristics that conveyed sentiments like warmth, love, home, or safety. Dunkin' Donuts has rebranded itself as simply Dunkin'. Notice how companies remove the referent. They take away reference to the actual item, service, or customer base that defines them. It's very strange. A great example of this is AARP, the organization AARP. They insist, and have been insisting for 15 years, and I know this because when I was in the nonprofit world, I talked with and worked with on various projects AARP a lot. Funerals, senior citizens, and I asked a DC staffer on the phone, what is it, why are you now just ARP? And she said to me, no, AARP does not stand for the American Association of Retired Persons. Our name is just ARP. It doesn't mean that anymore. Well, okay. Being retired or like a person is boomer and lame. Now, observe a typical McDonald's from my childhood and probably yours, with that curved, bright red roof and the yellow little French fries coming down. Now compare that to a modern McDonald's that you see now on the street. Gray, cube, hard, sterile, and hard. Cold, uninviting, deliberately. That's not a restaurant, it's a jobber crematory in the industrial park at the back end of town. A joyless final destination in concrete and aluminum slabs that says to you, abandon hope, all ye who enter. The question I have about this is why? Why in 2025, with the shift toward more traditional American values, are companies still barreling ahead with the uglification and sterilization of formerly beloved brands? Have you seen what they've done to Cracker Barrel this week? Take a look at what Cracker Barrel used to look like. For those of you not in the United States, Cracker Barrel is a restaurant chain that is deliberately and specifically down home. It's meant to evoke the general stores of country living of the past. It was founded in 1969. This is what Cracker Barrel used to look like inside. You've got memorabilia, this is not reproductions. These guys used to actually go out to flea markets and tag sales and estate sales and collect these pieces of Americana, buy them, and put them in the restaurants. This is real shit you're looking at here. Notice those center draft kerosene store lamps hanging up. They've been electrified, but they're actually working lamps. I have these in my house, except they actually burn kerosene. So that's what Cracker Barrel used to look like. As of this week, with their new brand unveiling, here's what Cracker Barrel looks like inside now. That's right, Chip and Joanna Gaines shiplap bullshit. Everything has been sterilized, it's been painted white and beige. All of the warmth, the clutter, and the kitsch has been taken away. Get rid of the kerosene lamps, get rid of everything, remove the clutter, whitewash everything, and make it look like something Adelaide in Park Slope in Brooklyn would really like. We can just show you the inside of Cracker Barrel on a short video loop here. Do we have that, Kevin? Yeah, just look at that. It is a sea of beige brown and what I call millennial mortuary gray. Looks inviting, doesn't it? Now, in this upcoming video, a deluded banshee is going to tell you on Good Morning America from behind her borderline glasses that everyone just loves the new sterile field look at Cracker Barrel. This woman, pardon me, is Cracker Barrel CEO Julie Masino, and she is the archetypal awful, affluent, white, female liberal. The archetypal awful who gleefully destroys something cherished while declaiming in excessively fake chipper tones that you really love this.
Honestly, the feedback's been overwhelmingly positive that people like what we're doing. I'll give you another soundbite. I actually happened to be in Orlando last week with all of our managers. We bring them together and every other year. And the number one question that I got asked, Michael, was, how can I get a remodel? When can I get a remodel? How do I get on the list?
Oh, really?
So because the feedback and the buzz is so good, not only from our customers, but from our team members. They want to work in a wonderful restaurant. So we're doing everything for our guests and our team members.
Well, Julie Masino, it's wonderful to have you here.
Pleasure to be here.
Thank you for answering those questions for all the Cracker Barrel fans out there. There's a lot of great changes.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. Robin?
Can I get in writing that the PEG game is going to...
We're doing everything. We are doing everything for our guests. Gackle, 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 gackle. She's a gackler. Gackle, gackle. All right. You don't love this. No one loves this. But Karen's going to shove it up your ass anyway. Now, what I have for you here is not a whole potpourri basket, but it's just an amuse-bouche of funnies. If you have laughed even one time during this episode, or frankly, any of the 237 episodes of Disaffected, it is time for you to buy a paid subscription to us at disaffectedpod.substack.com or to give us a one-off donation at disaffected.com and clicking on support us, because this shit is funny and you need to pay a gay man what he worth, okay? You've heard of winter vagina? Here in August, you're probably rocking your summer quim. But what happens when your bajingo enters its Ozempic era? Well, the New York Post has the answer. Quote, Ozempic vulva is making women look aged and droopy down there. I want to know. There's almost no chance in the world, but I do want to know. New York Post staff writers and or sub-editors who worked on this, if you happen to be watching this, you can be anonymous, you can write me from a Proton Mail account, but please tell me if you laughed as hard writing this as I laughed reading it. All right, next up, I was thinking of Cher the other day, as one does, and marveling at how her comeback song, Believe, from 1999, is still a freaking timeless banger. It sounds fresh and new and with it no matter how many years go by. So I said so on Twitter. I said, Cher's Believe is one of the eternal pop songs that will always sound new and brilliant. Fight me! And then I put up a picture of a drag queen from RuPaul's Drag Race doing the whole, Cher thing with the tongue and the the hand just stick. She doesn't have bird hands. She has like Cher hands. Well, that got the funniest insult I have received in years, and the insulter is a mutual Twitter follower who calls himself Pangloss the Astute, and it is so good that he needs to replace me in the seat. This is what he wrote when I said that Believe was eternally fresh. Quote, "You're wrong, but given your sexual preference, I understand why you believe this." That's Paul Lynde level, okay? If you pulled that off without the requisite homosexuality, I doff my cap to you. Let's cap it off tonight with Taylor Swift. The biggest pop star in the world became a household name by singing forgettable songs about inadequate men and the trauma of a teenager's dating life. Thing is, she's still singing about this stuff at 35. You see on your screen. I'm going to tell you about this, but this is the cover of her latest album. Her concerts are packed not just with teenage girls, but with suburban moms who are well into their 50s, crying the way adolescent girls did in the early 1960s when the Beatles first washed ashore. This is not normal. This infantilized girl boss pose by mothers and career women has no historical precedent. For all the talk of shiftless video gaming incel boys who live in their mommy's basement, we spill precious little ink and we say precious few words about the fact that adult women think nothing of dressing like 16-year-old sluts and waxing about how they're in their soft girl era. It's undignified, and so is the direction that Miss Swift is taking with the publicity for her new album. This is the photo you see on your screen that she released on social media. It is too generous to call this garment a teddy. It's closer to a gownless evening strap. Her rump is exposed, and she's bending over to stick out her backside while she leans against what looks like a truck stop bathroom wall. Even the lighting looks like grimy gay pornography from the 1970s. So, what does this have to do with the state of ordinary, everyday, non-Taylor Swift women? It has a lot to do with it. Miss Swift is doing on stage what millions of normal, non-famous, workaday women are doing on the street. She is refusing to age gracefully, and she's getting raunchier as every year goes on. This has been a pattern with women for at least the past 15 years, as mothers don't want to be seen as mothers. God forbid they should ever be seen as grandmothers. But they want to be seen as the older, more experienced version of their nubile daughters. And they call middle age the invisibility problem. On leaving youth and entering middle age, women say, men stop looking at them as desirable. This is a double-edged sword for most women. Many women express relief at not having their breasts and their backsides ogled, because men are cads. Women are not making that up. Men are definitely pigs. But at the same time, these same women complain bitterly about no longer being perceived as sex objects. The problem these women are facing, I think, stems from the fact that so many of them have stayed adolescent girls their entire lives, instead of learning from the example of their grandmothers. I was going to say their mothers, but their mothers usually aren't any better. You have to go back another generation to see dignified older women. There is an arc to a woman's life. Some people call it maiden, mother, crone. Maybe you don't like that. If you don't like that, find a different label that you find pleasing and move along with me. There is a role for middle-aged and older women, at least there used to be. We've kind of gotten rid of it in society, and it's a big problem. We need to get it back. This role was upheld in some form in almost all societies up until about the mid-20th century, especially for the West. Even the most narcissistic actresses of old Hollywood, beauty queens in their youth like Joan Crawford, they assumed this role as they aged. Our grandmothers assumed this role. The role is called Grande Dame. It is the carriage of a mature, put-together, self-confident, and genuinely wise woman. A true matriarch. Hair goes up, hems go down. Youthful beauty and sex appeal are natural to the young part of a woman's life and the young part of a man's life. This tracks with evolutionarily programmed facts of reproduction. When one is past one's reproductive prime, life offers new and different roles to women and to men. Not in the 2020s. But it does not have to be this way for women. Dignity is there for you if you are willing to step into it. And that's the show. Don't forget to support us on disaffected.com or at Substack or Subscribestar. And don't forget, before you click this video away, right now, you're sitting in front of it right now, all it takes is you to move your finger, click subscribe and click like. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.
You're actually get hit.